Chauncey, when you look back, this is the moment, right? Russ comes back to Oklahoma City. You look back at that trade. How do you feel about it 6 months later?
Well, I'll be honest. You're talking about 2 first-ballot Hall of Famers, 2 of the greats that will ever play the game, ever lace them up at the position, traded for one another. I think Chris is the back part of his prime, still playing very well, still leading those guys. Russ in the middle of his prime, to me. But I think it was a good trade for both teams. You know, I really do. Chris is doing a good job over there, leading those guys. You got Shea there. I mean, they're playing well. Dennis. And Russ, too, on the other end. If you're Houston and you wanted a guy that's going to be explosive, you can't keep him out of the paint, he can make other players better, he can do all of those great things, well, he's doing that. His usage is down, obviously, playing with James, but he's balling. He's still doing that. So, to me, it was just a good trade for both teams.
I got to go with Chauncey. It was a great trade. It was a good trade, and it's working out well for both sides. If you look at Chris Paul, the run that him and James Harden had together in Houston, it was good. But I like Chris Paul better with the OKC Thunder. Why? Because it's structure. Chris Paul is a point guard, meaning he likes to be in structure. He likes to run plays. He likes to run sets. That's not necessarily what Mike D'Antoni and the Houston Rockets like to do. And on the other side of it, if you look at Russell Westbrook, he's a guy, like Chauncey said, he likes to get up and down.
Sure.
The Houston Rockets are what? They're number 1 in pace. They're number 1 in pace, and James Harden, just when we thought he couldn't get any better, he's arguably having one of the best seasons of his career right now, playing on the side of Russ, which that trickles down the line. Think about it. KD, 4-time scoring champion. Paul George, before he got hurt last year, was on the verge of possibly winning the MVP. And when you look at a guy like Russell Westbrook, he reminds me of Kevin Garnett, just that mentality that is contagious, that he brings that kill out of you. And what he did for James Harden is James Harden defensively, all his numbers went up through the roof, because you can't look Russell Westbrook in the eyes and not go out there and compete at a high level on both ends of the court.
Yeah, well, you played with both those guys, so you would know that comparison. I want to look at
that's the young skinny perk right there.
Hey, getting off the floor.
Have to get back up in the gym.
He actually jumped over a phone book right there.
He can do that now. He just chooses not to. That's it. That's what it's
we
all
ain't getting
about.
off the floor.
And we can throw the numbers up there of CP and Russ. Seeing some of what you guys are talking about here. Look, I think that Chris was not maximized in the Houston system, right, because of the amount of usage that James Harden has. So Chris is being allowed to be Chris more of the way he is in Oklahoma City. With Russ, look, his shooting has gotten better, and it's going to have to continue to get better, because the way he started this season is going to be a detriment for the Rockets. If they get to the playoffs and he is not a reliable enough shooter that when teams double James Harden, they feel like Russ is a threat, like that is going to be a problem. So I am waiting until the playoffs to make a judgment really on this trade. And that really speaks to just the level the Rockets are at. They are such an elite team that it's really championship or finals or not. And that's the standard they've set, right? That they think it's kind of a failure if they only get to the second or third round. So I want to see, does this deal make them a team that can get further in the postseason? And then we'll know.
Well, I tell you what, I feel good, because I actually picked the Oklahoma City Thunder to make the playoffs before the season started, because you can never count out Chris Paul. And what he's doing, I have to give him praise and applaud him, man, because he embraced this situation. He didn't cry about it. He didn't whine about it. He didn't force his way out. He embraced this with open arms, and you have
just
to
give him
credit.
Yep.
He's just a winner. Chris Paul is just a winner, period. You can put him wherever you want. He's just a winner.
Absolutely, and we are seeing that yet again.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.